Hello, is this Jamaica? Copy first world education, train for first world jobs, talent leave, we lose human capital. Post-colonial spaces, hello. Is this the Giselle? And all our smartest brain to foreign and Babylon. When can connect me to flow. Jamaica, we need to talk. I don't know how to do this, All right, that looks good enough. Hey guys, what's good? Wagwan. I'm Ray and I am a multi-context, polyglot, polymath, intersectional human from Kingston, Jamaica, born and raised. And before una ask me if it's Cherry Garden or Ligani, it's Ligani, okay? And I'm not ashamed. I am so excited to be back on YouTube, talking my truth finally. It has been so scary for me to talk about what I want to talk about and that I don't have everything put together well enough to start this conversation. My heart's in the right place, so this has got to work. Years ago, I did a video when I was a baby and I was moving back from Japan to Jamaica, and I had this same heart of like, I want to find other people who want to build a better country and connect with them and help them and all of these different things. Truth is, I didn't know how I was going to do that yet. I had no idea, I didn't know what to do. I just knew that was the vision. And I told people like, reach out, send me emails, put me messages, and then people reached out and sent me emails and messages, and that was like the scariest thing ever. And I completely, I choked and I did not make another video for like a year because I didn't actually know if I could help. This time I'm coming back stronger with more resolve. I know that if we have our heart in the right place and we simply tune into the frequency, I will find a way out of this hellscape. Like, this is the time. The systems are crumbling. We are ready to lead the world. We don't need to learn anything else. We don't need nothing. We. This video is for anyone surrounded by expectations that don't suit who you are or don't match your vision for the world or how you live. I needed to have this conversation because at this point I've been around the world. I've lived in Sweden, I've lived in Korea, I've lived in Japan, I'm in China right now. And there are so many different ways to live, so many different value sets of systems, so many different standards of ways to do things that look completely different from what England is doing, from what America is doing, Canada is doing, etc. And are thriving and are doing even better than America, England, and Canada.
I just want to emphasize that the reason they are doing better, they're building societies for themselves. Like, they are working on a program of like, how do we solve problems, not how do we become more like the colonizer.
Yet, us in Jamaica, us in post-colonial spaces, feel very limited by the previous expectations of the colonizer. I have never met a set of people more creative than Jamaicans. I'm sorry to everybody else watching this video who is not Jamaican, because I'm gonna be very proud in this video. But like, you have seen how much our culture sets the pathways and conditions for so much other art and culture developing abroad. Like, I cannot, every time I hear Londoners say, yeah, I'm on par with the man them.
Yo, I'm gonna teach ya some roadman expressions. Hey, hello my friends. Yo, wagwan mandem. I'm going to have Nando's chicken with my friends. Gonna get a cheeky Nando's with your mandem. That was very funny, mate. That was bare jokes, blood. Okay, great. Safe. Hey, that joke was not funny at all. That joke was bare dry, fam.
I lose my shit because how is it that other places enjoy our culture more than us? Like, it's guys, we need. So my goal is that by the end of this video, you as a soul rebel would have given yourself permission to let go of all of these old institutions, expectations, ideas of what you're supposed to be, of what your brand is supposed to look like, of what your songs are supposed to sound like, of how you need to go about building your life, of how you need to educate your kids, how you need to prepare them for the future. All of these things are things that we've been taught, and we need to start asking ourselves, who wrote the software, the program that is running in our heads? Like, I mean, Bob said it long time, we alone can save we from mental enslavement. So if anyone is paying attention to what is happening in the US, everyone is talking about capitalism and fascism and the breakdown of the American empire.
Why do you think so many countries, governments around the world are just ignoring what is happening in Gaza?
Because of racism, that's the simple answer, I would say. racism and basically desperately trying to defend a destructive, deadly system that systematically puts short-term economic profit and to maximize geopolitical power over the well-being of humans and the planet. And right now it's very, very difficult to morally defend that. It is impossible, but still they are desperately trying.
There's a lot of conversation about how we can move forward. How can we work within the system to change so that the system is not so oppressive and racist and terrible and all that. But the truth is, and where everybody is getting to, is that the system is working exactly the way that it was intended. It is not like, this is not a hiccup or a mishap. This is the way it was built off of. Wall Street was originally a slave auction. Modern schooling was modeled after the prison system in order to create docile and copycat thinkers. The police state is created to over-surveil the poor and keep them in check so that the 1% can do whatever they want. Laws don't apply to every strata of person. What is valued most is your ability to trade.
And the pale man's greed is stronger than any god or prophecy you fight for.
There has to be another way.
It is only a matter of time before our waters will be full of foreign ships, all of which to trade or to take what we have. Thunderwood is money, and money is all the pale man respect.
In imperialist societies, which is a lot of what Western society is based off of, personhood is afforded to companies instead of individuals and families and people. The value is not the people or the resources or the actual work getting done. The value is the guy who thinks up the idea or holds the chips, aka the slave owner. Even the term developing nation never actually meant ahead or behind or economic growth. Like, it never meant any of that. Have you ever wondered why we have first world and we have third world and there's no like second world and nobody ever talks about the fourth world? There's a reason. We were taught that third world equates to developing nation and first world equates to developed nation. But actually, that's not where it comes from at all. This is all Cold War ideology. First world represents the US and their allies and essentially equates to imperialists and their ideology and their school of thought. Winners deserve stuff, losers do not deserve stuff. Survival of the fittest states, as I like to think of them. Then the second world was the Soviet Union and anyone that shared their ideology, which is like socialism, communism, which included people like Che Guevara, Venezuela, lots of South American countries, Cuba, believed in this baseline communism. Then there was the third world that didn't really have a strong ideology, that wasn't trying to become anything or define what life had to be. Third world equated to the non-aligned. But third world did not only mean that we didn't have our own ideology, it also meant that we were impressionable and we were proxy cultures, proxy countries that the first world and the second world were able to control and command to gain more resources and add to their own empires. So the third world is like the first world and the second world's back pocket. So we are where them stick them on, for go pull up something, for go take out something. Like, for example, we as a rice-eating nation don't produce rice. Instead, we produce coffee as a tea-drinking nation. You know what I'm trying to say? So the third world equates to the colonies. Then we have the fourth world, which nobody likes to talk about. And the fourth world is generally defined as the indigenous. And why are they the fourth world in comparison to, like, what's the difference between us and them? The fourth world was completely unwilling to bend or lean into the first world or the second world's bullshit, right? And so they couldn't even be kept as colonial mental slaves. They were just killed. I mean, if you don't value trade and dumb sparkly shit they have to sell you, then, I mean, are you even human? According to the first world, no. And that's the thing, is that these existing systems are all based on oppression. They don't work unless oppression is there. The first and second world consumes more than half of the world's entire resources. So if they don't have us as proxy countries to give them the shit, do you think that they could continue to exist? No, obviously not. So the entire system that we also are here wanting to buy into and train our kids to be a part of is hurting us and will continue to hurt us forever and ever because the system itself is flawed. All of this is stuff that I learned in sociology in US courses. So these are things that are like this is not conspiracy. This is largely accepted ideas. You can go anywhere and look it up. Modernity is completely based off of like the concept of modernity does not equal futuristic. Modernity equals Europeanization, which is why you also never hear about like the innovations and the modernity of what's happening in China or in Asia overall, because it doesn't fit with the narrative of improvement towards social progress that Europe is trying to build. You understand? We have to understand that when we are thinking about saying we need to develop Jamaica, a lot of our imaginations also mean we need to make Jamaica more European. And I think that that is very hurtful to our creativity, which is why Marcus Garvey and Pan-Africanism has been so important for us to regain our identity, connecting back to other cultures to know, what different ways there are to live and to value ourselves. The Finnish president did a recent address in the UN and he summed it up so damn well. So I'm going to link that video in the description.
Our interests differ, and it's only right that we promote them. However, our choices have consequences. Opportunism will eventually be forced to confront the problems it tried to ignore.
If we are constantly looking for the short-term gain through short-term vision, quick gain, foreign policy, in our case, it's like developing to align with these big developing nations, we're always going to be proliferating the same problems that we're trying to run away from. It's important to say too that it's not just them, like we are proliferating the issue. I have always been interested in social justice and in liberation and in learning about how we can make the world a better place. And the first place I wanted to go do that is America. And then I was in Sweden because, Scandinavia has this big brand for being beyond all of these issues. And of course, none of these people are. We're all on the same page. We're all still struggling with our shadows. We're all still struggling with I and I. When I came home and realized that Jamaica has been the leader and the forefront of this conversation for decades, and for whatever reason, I felt called to go to the colonizer to learn about decolonialization. You don't understand how upset I was with myself. Like I was like, Ray, hello, somebody can come knock some sense into me. Similarly, I spoke with a South African education consultant, and on the surface, they're working to help ministries of education in third world spaces improve their education system and modernize, be more accessible for all kinds of students, etc. But underneath it all, they have a goal of decolonialization and to help these systems be more creative and outside of the box that has been set for them. And you know what they said is the most heartbreaking thing for them? Everyone will be in these meetings talking about how they want to change things, how they want to prepare their kids for the future, how they want to allow them to be themselves and want this to be localized and blah, blah, blah. And then when you ask them what they want to see happen, they're basically like, oh, stronger math scores, better results on standardized tests, passes for Harvard. And they're like, do you realize you could do literally anything? Like we could be giving classes on restorative farming, on permaculture, on how to work together and create community projects. We could be teaching emotional intelligence in schools. We could be connecting the Caribbean more. I don't know about you, but most of my history classes growing up were about colonial legacy or like what it was like right after colonial legacy. Stuff that is not necessarily going to bring me into understanding what I need to do for Jamaica to build my country and to make it a different place. I barely know anything about the rest of the Caribbean, and I hate that. And why do you think we want better math scores and better, standardized testing scores in the first place? So we can prepare our kids to leave and prepare them for a society that is not ours. Like all of those things, all of those metrics are being built for this company worker, this employee, and we barely have conglomerates in Jamaica or in the Caribbean. Anyway, there are like 5 big companies and there are not that many spaces. So what happens? People leave because there aren't good opportunities here. We don't have high pay. That's not what Jamaica needs. We need creative people doing creative things, banding together, creating businesses. We're not training our kids. We're not wrapping our minds around our society. We're just letting it happen. That's why we end up so complacent. We just watch what's going around us and we're like, yeah, well, this is Jamaica, you know. Well, you know, I saw Jamaica stay, you know. We just want left here, you know, because no opportunity there. There's no blah, blah, blah. I can't even bother to repeat all of the stupidity. But I grew up thinking that Jamaica was a terrible place because everyone around me always talks about what is wrong with Jamaica. And then I went to America, like open eyes. I'm like, oh my God, yes, America. And it sucked. America's a dump. I digress. We are training our kids to work at Google, to represent Team Jamaica around the world and be brilliant elsewhere. And then we celebrate it and we put it in the newspaper. But what is that really doing for Jamaica? What is that really doing for our communities? Reflect. It's a dead-end cycle. Copy first world education, train for first world jobs, talent leave, we lose human capital and all our smartest brain to foreign and Babylon, depend on remittances and tourism money and foreign capital in order to sustain ourselves. Then rinse and repeat. And then, here's the kicker, we try even harder to copy because we feel like something's wrong with us. Obviously, we are complicit to the system. We're the third world because we still keep pumping resources into systems that don't like us, love us, or hold us. And we call that progress. In that same sociology class, I learned that capitalism has been tried and implemented in a bagload of different countries and actually has only succeeded in a few. We act as if it is a very well-functioning system, but it's really not a well-functioning system. And the one factor that they have figured is the main reason why countries fail at capitalism is shame. Capitalism feeds on our emptiness, on our feeling to need more and our shame that we're not good enough. So the countries that do best with capitalism have this culture of shaming you whenever you rest, whenever you don't have enough money, whenever you haven't accumulated enough resources, and that pushes people to keep hustling and doing more. Because if you don't want all that glitters and gold, then you won't sacrifice your time and your energy and your family and your resources, etc., to line the pockets of some random billionaire. So that's where we stand. The Jamaican dream is very simple. We don't need like a giant castle somewhere. There's Walipa land, there's Walipa water, there's food to go around, fruit to drop off of the tree. So in paradises like ours, capitalism doesn't stick. We failed at it, essentially. But what I want to say is that's actually great news. And instead of us feeling guilty or shame about that, we should celebrate it more. We have to stop sell out our greatest minds to this oppressive system and instead build a society that values what we do, that values rest, that values community, that shares. We should go deeper in what makes us Jamaican. We should go deeper with our values of love. I. Okay, I rambled a lot and I don't even know if I made sense. Like I always have so much to say and this is the problem, is like, how do I say everything women need to say in a damn YouTube video? But I hope that now that you've listened to all of that, you're starting to think like, yeah, why the hell am I shaming myself? Why the hell am I putting my eyes on foolishness when I'm at all? I have everything. Like we are the paradise. We have the value. Now the question is, how do we make that more accessible to more Jamaicans? How do we take back the systems and defocus Babylon? We've been fighting this for so long, but I just feel like I don't even want to think about them anymore. Can we stop looking over there? Look somewhere else. Let's pay attention to something else and figure out how to build a Jamaica for Jamaicans. Okay, so that's it for today's video. I hope you guys enjoyed it. If anything I said in this video struck a chord and resonated with you and you want to join up and figure out how you can create something restorative or, you know, improve yourself so that you can improve your community or I don't know, you want advice on your brand. Whatever it is, I would love to meet you. I'd love to connect with you. I made a Discord server, like a community server space where we can connect. And the link is in the description below. I can't wait to meet you. I can't wait to talk to you. And I promise I won't run away this time. I promise. I'm so sorry. Like if you reached out to me years ago and I ignored you, I honestly feel guilty about it to this day. Like, I was too young, I'm sorry. We in this bitch full time. Look more.